Tribe, Book 2, Todd Mills Mystery. Author, R.D. Zimmerman. Publisher, Scrib Pub, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Narrator, Eric Aust. Chapter 14. With the baby swaddled in several blankets, including the pure white one, Paul pulled shut the front door of the house. He hadn't expected any of that. Not only the woman's resolve and strength, but the guy. Where in the world had he come from? Dear Jehovah in heaven, he muttered to himself as he scurried through the snow and down the front steps. He'd been listening from his hiding place in the basement. As the two men left, Paul hadn't been able to make out much of their conversation, but he had clearly heard the woman say goodnight, and then the two men departed, firmly shutting the door behind them. Just to make sure they were really gone, Paul had waited a good 10 minutes. Once he was positive the woman was alone, he'd waited even more, hoping she would go to bed, which would have made things incredibly easy. When it was clear that wasn't going to happen anytime soon, he'd snuck upstairs. Oh, brother. Nearly everything had been screwed up, the opportunity almost ruined. Trudging through the snow, his heart still pounding, Paul glanced back at the house and saw the lights glaring in the large arched windows. Praise heaven, he muttered to himself. In spite of everything, the baby was rescued. Everything was okay. He had succeeded. Now they'd be able to get Ripka back to her mother and the people who truly loved her. As the snow poured down, the baby started squirming and fussing. Was she hungry? Her diaper dirty? He had no idea. All he knew was that he had to get this little thing to Rick, and then it would be his problem. He only hoped that Rick had thought ahead, that he had the supplies he needed to care for the infant. Thinking of the situation, he realized they shouldn't fly back, not two adult men and one little infant. If the police were looking for them, they'd be too conspicuous at the airport. They'd either have to rent a car and drive back to Colorado or fly Suzanne out here and have her take the baby back. That would suit me best, Paul thought, for he really had no desire to do a cross-country trip with some kid screaming in the back seat. The snow was now so deep that there was no discerning the sidewalk from those front yards, or for that matter, the street itself. Driving was going to be awful, especially the side streets, but if he could just get out of this neighborhood with its hilly roads and return to the highway, then he was sure he could make it back to the hotel. By morning, this was going to be easily knee-deep. Perhaps that would work in their favor. Maybe it would hamper any search for the child. Then again, this woman and her friend wouldn't dare come after the kid, would they? When he came to a street sign, he turned right. There was his car, still the lone vehicle on the street. "Just a couple of minutes, little one," he said to the child in his arms. "I'll get you in the car. I'll get you the heat on. Just hang on. You're going to be okay. You're going to back to your mom. Jehovah is watching over you, little angel. We all love you, and everything's going to be fine. You're safe now." He trudged up the road carefully, holding the baby girl in his left arm, and then took out his key and unlocked the passenger door. As he opened the car, snow dusted and blew inward, covering the front seat with a film of light snow. He reached in, brushed off the seat, and then quickly opened his briefcase and dumped the contents on the floor. Next, he placed the hard-sided case on the passenger seat. It wasn't much, but it was the best he could do for a makeshift car seat. "Yes, it's okay. Everything's fine. Don't worry." But as he laid her down, some flakes fell from his head and onto the baby's face, and Ripka started to shriek. "Quiet, little one. It's okay. I'm taking you home to your mother." As he pulled the blankets up and around her on the open briefcase, she started to cry even louder. Oh, brother, between the kid and the roads, this was going to be no joyride back to the hotel. He shut the car door, brushed off the side windows, and turned to go around to the driver's side. Just as he started, however, he saw a black figure move against the white landscape of snow. He flinched, plunged his hand into his pocket for the pistol, but it was too late. Before he could even raise a hand in defense, he was struck in the side of the head by a huge board. Everything seemed to explode, and as he collapsed into the snowbank, he got one clear glimpse of the young kid, the devil-possessed one who'd started this all. A Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold. to offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides. And in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.